Good, good, good. Now I can see your comments. Thanks, Alex. All right. Abdul Rahman, sorry. Lamont, Victoria, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. And we are now up and running. We are now live. So, welcome everyone. My name is Terry White, Worldwide Design and Photography Evangelist for Adobe. It's my pleasure to be streaming to you live on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. And today we're going to be talking about updating your portfolio. More importantly, how you can use something you're probably already paying for, and many of you don't even realize you have as a feature. There is something called Adobe Portfolio. An Adobe Portfolio is part of your Creative Cloud membership. Even if you're just on the photography plan, it's part of your Creative Cloud membership. So anyone with a Creative Cloud membership, a paid membership that is, can have a free online portfolio. And that portfolio just got a lot better. As a matter of fact, I didn't even realize how many new features were added back in Adobe Max, because back in October, we were focused on Photoshop and Photoshop on the iPad and Rush and all the other cool applications that came out. But the portfolio team snuck in some new cool things that I had been waiting for. So I'm glad to show those to you guys today. So RAL Creations, Mark, Tony, Jimmy, Colleen, welcome as well. And let's go ahead and dive into the content today. So I'm going to switch over to my computer so you guys can see what I'm doing. And first of all, like I said, for those of you who are just joining and those of you watching the replay later today, you will be able to create your own portfolio just by pointing your web browser to portfolio.adobe.com. There is no app for it. It is just it's all web-based. So if you go to portfolio, I can never get that zoom to work the way it should. Let me try it again. There we go. Portfolio.adobe.com will get you to the site where you can get started. Whether you've never created an Adobe portfolio or not, or whether you have one and you haven't updated it in a while, you can go ahead and, of course, update it. Now, I'm going to talk about one of the first things that was new, and this is how I even discovered that there had been some new features added. I had missed this announcement. I had missed all the new features. I went to go update my portfolio. I just recently did a photo shoot. I wanted to add one of the photos to my portfolio, and then I came to the page, and it said, I caught it right away. Normally, that button in the middle says, edit your site. Well, you see it says something a little different now. So it's very slight nuance. Edit your sites, plural. And I caught that right away, because I'm like, wait a minute. Adobe Portfolio had always been limited to one site per customer. That is no longer the case. Now you can have, I believe it's unlimited, but you can have certainly several Adobe Portfolio sites. Now, they're still all tied to your Creative Cloud account. They're still all tied to your content in Creative Cloud as far as bringing things in easily, but you can now have more than one. So what this is great for is people that maybe you're a painter, a graphic designer, and something else, and you want to have kind of maybe a separate site for each one. You don't have to put all that content on one site anymore. So right away, I clicked on that button that says edit your sites. And sure enough, I saw my normal Terry White photography site, and boom, the button to create a second site, and of course a third site or a fourth site. So I was pretty excited about that. Not that I need a second or third site, but I know many of you do. I've gotten that question many times every time I show Adobe Portfolio, can I have more than one? And so the answer is yes, you can have more than one now. Yay! All right, so that's the first new feature, is the ability to have more than one site. Now, before I get into that, let me explain what Adobe Portfolio is for those of you who are like, well, why do I need an online portfolio? What's an online portfolio? Or how's Adobe Portfolio work? How's it different? I'm going to show you mine. So if you head over to terrywhite.photography, you'll be able to see my portfolio. This is all hosted by the feature I'm about to show you. None of this is, anywhere else. This is now, I have pretty much with the last few things they added, I have now committed to 100% using Adobe Portfolio as my photography site. Now, my old photography site is still up, but I plan to point that domain to this site because I like it now. It has everything on it that I've been asking for. And 3 years ago, I presented Adobe Portfolio at Adobe Max. I actually had a class, and I probably spent too much of that beginning of that class talking about things it didn't have, like just complaining about all the things I wish they would add. They added them. They added all the things I wanted. So I can't complain anymore because Adobe Portfolio has all the things 3 years later, better late than never, all the things I've been wanting. So I have an About Me page. You can click on that. There's a Contact Me page. This contact form is built in. I have my galleries page, of course. I have a link to my blog, which is not part of this site, but it's just an external link. And of course, I have all my social media. Go follow me on Instagram. I can use more followers. And my YouTube channel and so forth and so on. So all my social media links here, my logos here, my galleries are here. So for example, if I wanted to take a look at one of my newest galleries, drone photography, I can click on my drone photography and I can click on these various images, or you can, and you can see them. Now, the other thing that's cool about this is that, let me close this, is that this is also mobile friendly. So I didn't have to think about creating a mobile version. It just automatically makes it mobile friendly. All of the templates in Adobe Portfolio are mobile friendly templates. So not remembering the word I want to use, but anyway, they're mobile friendly. Responsive design, that's what I was trying to think of. So they're all responsive templates, and so no matter which one you pick, you know it's going to work across desktop all the way down to a phone. All right. So Elliot's saying, hey, I really like your portfolio. Which one did you choose? So let's get to that right now. I think that's it. So if I tap that, it'll take me back to the beginning. And of course, you can hover over each one and see the various categories. But let's get into how I built this and which template I used and answer Elliot's question, and we'll go on. All right, so let's go back to, I think it was here. So now, and by the way, it used to be hard for me to do a portfolio demo because back then you could only have one. So, and there was no real way to delete your portfolio either. Or so I could only show people editing my existing one. Now I can show it to you from scratch. So let's go ahead and create a new site. Second feature that's new. Before, you used to just have one type of site, the gallery site, the one on the left. Now you've got a choice between a gallery site and a splash page. What's the difference? The gallery site is just like the one I just showed you, mine. It's multiple pages. You can, of course, pick which pages you want. So if you don't want an About Me page or you don't want a Contact Me page, you can not have those. You can turn off or have whatever pages you want, add more pages. So it's a multiple page site. The one on the right, splash page, is like, that might be why you'd want to create a second site. You might want just a splash page for a specific event, or a gallery showing of your work, or a road tour of you being on tour with your work, or a specific assignment you're doing. You want to create a separate site just for that. So splash page might be the way to go for that kind of work. All right, so is a portfolio private or can everyone see this? Yes, you can make it password protected or public, like mine. I just gave you the URL. terrywhite.photography is public. Anyone can see it. All right, but it's only public once you publish it, once you're ready to go. So I'm going to click on the one that I created, which is Gallery of Work. And someone asked, well, which template was I using? I am using Thomas. Thomas is the one that I started with. I'm going to pick something different because that was the one I started with. So let's pick something else. And by the way, even if you pick a template and you say, well, I kind of like some of it, I don't like all of it, much of Adobe Portfolio is customizable. You can pick your own colors, pick your own fonts. Now it's tied into Adobe fonts. You get the access to Adobe fonts as well. And of course, like you saw mine, terrywhite.photography, you can have your own domain as well. And I'm going to talk about that because there's something new there as well. All right, so I'm going to go up and I'm going to pick Lucas this time. I like the dark theme. This one's really geared towards photographers. I'm a photographer more than I am a designer. So, but you can pick any one you want and then customize it to your heart's content. So if I start with Lucas, now this is going to take a few minutes because I'm going to tell you what it's doing behind the scenes. One thing I would still have the portfolio team change is what's going on right now. What it's doing right now is it's saying, oh, you want to create a new site? I'm going to help you. I'm going to put all your Behance projects on your new site. I don't want that. I certainly don't want that by default. So if we were to now go look, it's put every single Behance project I've ever done on this new site. And yes, I can go turn them off one by one. You can't turn them all off. Not yet. We're going to, because you can't turn off your landing page. And by default, it makes this new page your landing page. So I would ask, portfolio team, if you're listening, let me have that as a choice once I create the site. Do you want to import all your Behance projects? So I can say, no, I don't want to import all my Behance projects. Because here's my philosophy behind that. Behance is where you do a work in progress. It's where you show projects and maybe the behind the scenes to the project that you were working on. It's where you go do things where you're trying to show your creativity in your work. Those projects don't necessarily mean that they're portfolio worthy. I do lots of things that aren't good enough to be in my portfolio that might be good enough to kind of talk about on Behance, but not in my real portfolio. So I look at my portfolio as my best of, and therefore I don't automatically want every Behance project I've ever done on the portfolio. So that would be my new feedback to the portfolio team. All right, so with that said, how do I get rid of that? Well, like I said, I've tried, and here's what happens. When you try to turn it off, you're going to get a message. You can't do that. This is your landing page. So what you have to do is create a new landing page. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new, and you'll be tempted to create a new page, and that could work if that's what you want to be your landing page. But I'm going to create a new gallery. And when I create that new gallery, instead of it being called work, I'm going to call it my work. You can call it galleries. You can call it my photography. You can call it whatever, my graphic design, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to create that new gallery. It's going to be empty. So it's now empty by default. And when I click out of it, here's my new empty gallery. It's saying, okay, what do you want in this gallery? So I can add a page. So maybe you have portrait photography, landscape photography, architectural photography, graphic design for client, whatever your pages would be, that's what this is for. So you can create a page and you can manually upload your content. So you have 10 pictures that you want to upload to that new page. You can upload those 10 pictures. What I'm going to do instead is, instead of me creating a page that would be manually updated, I'm going to use the Lightroom integration. So Lightroom integration is not new, but there is a new feature in it. So let's go to Lightroom album. And now it's going to look at my Lightroom, everything I've synced to Lightroom mobile, and it's going to say, or Lightroom on the cloud, and it's going to say, well, what do you want? I'm going to go to one of my demo ones. This isn't really portfolio stuff, but I'm just going to pick on my 7 things demo. There's some pictures in there that I used to demo Lightroom. All right, so I'll import that in. And it'll take a few seconds, but it'll bring it all over from Lightroom. And there it all is. It's all coming in. Beautiful. I don't ever have to think about it again. It just did it. Now, of course, there's some duplicates in there because it's a demo collection. But if I were to say that now I have added some pictures, removed the duplicate, moved them around, gotten rid of some, added some new ones, whatever, edited some photos, you can always come back to that album and say reset from Lightroom, meaning I've done some things in Lightroom, go get a new copy of that album, bring in all the new pictures, get rid of the old pictures, bring in the modified pictures, so forth and so on. That's why I love Adobe Portfolio, because it makes it easy for me as a photographer to update my work just by updating Lightroom. Once I update Lightroom, I just come back and hit reset and my work is ready to go. All right, so now that I've done that, I've gone ahead and created a new page with a new album. How do I get Adobe Portfolio? Because I don't need my work and work. I don't need both of those. How do I get Adobe Portfolio to update? Well, believe it or not, this is one thing I think, again, they should change. You can't change it until you publish it. Now, publish it means it will go live, but that doesn't mean anyone will know it's there. So you're not sharing the link, you're not doing any of that stuff, but you do have to put it online. So I'm going to go ahead and say publish the site. That'll take a few moments. It will update the site. It will make it live. We'll talk about the URL for it. Do I want to share this to Behance? No, I don't want to share this to Behance. There's the URL it picked by default. Don't worry, you can change that. And now that is ready to go. So we'll give it a second, and then I should be able to now come over here. Oh, actually over here to the site settings. And in the site settings, I should now be able to go to landing page and pick, oh, see, it's still grayed out. It takes a few seconds for that to update. But I should be able to pick, once I go back to my work, there we go. Let's see if it works. There we go. I should be able to now pick the new My Work gallery as the landing page. And if somebody tries to go to a page that doesn't exist, take them to the My Work page by default. So now when I hit done, My Work becomes the default. Well, how do I get rid of work? The way you should have been able to from the beginning. Turn it off. I don't want all of those Behance projects on my portfolio. So now that that's turned off, it's just My Work and Contact. And you can, of course, change any of this. You can change the font. There's my gallery. You can add another gallery, so forth and so on. So now, at this point, you've got the foundation to just continue editing your site. So, for example, it says it defaulted to, hi, I'm Terry White. Well, I don't want it to say that. That's not what I would want on my home page. So I just click the little edit button. I can go in and find where it says that. Masthead text probably. Nope. Title. There it is. Hi, I'm Terry White. No, I don't want to say I'm Terry White. I could say my photography or my portraits, whatever you want to call this. All right, and then you can choose, this is where you can choose the font. You can go in and manage, you can use the fonts that are built in. You can manage your web fonts. So Adobe or Acumen Pro is a web Adobe font. I can go and say manage that. I can go get any font from Adobe Fonts that I want to be this particular template. So you have a choice of your fonts. Of course, you can choose the size, you can choose the color, you can choose all of those things, and then you're done. And now that says my photography, scroll down and see more. And up here, I can say, well, maybe that should be called something else. Let's customize that. And let's see if I can find it here. Page titles, I never can find that. Somewhere in here, it would give me the ability. There we go. Terry White photography. Or better yet, I see that this particular one has the ability to upload a logo. So you can actually put your logo on that. Not every template lets you put a logo on it, but like I like templates that let me put my own logo on it. So this one lets you update your image with a logo, and you can just upload it. All right, so that's going on. And the next thing I wanted to do is come up here. I want to customize this. And this is kind of cool, is that now you have the ability to also have social profiles. So I can turn that on and I can say, warning, you are editing the global style. That's fine. What did I click on? Sorry, I clicked out of that by mistake. Turn on to edit. There we go. And now I should be able to turn these on. So I want my Twitter profile, Twitter URL, https://twitter.com/Terry L. White. And I also want my Instagram. So let's turn that on. Instagram.com/Terry Lee White. All right. And of course you can continue scrolling and continue adding. So I like my YouTube up there as well, which I made that one pretty easy. terrywhite.tv. All right, so once I'm done, it will put those, I probably didn't turn that one on, but it'll put the icons up there for you and make them part of your site. Did I not do the one for YouTube? Hang on. I think I did something weird for that one. Or you might have to put in the actual YouTube one, or I didn't turn it on, one of the two. Looks like I didn't turn it on. Let's turn it on. There we go. All right, done. Oh, okay. It doesn't like it because it actually wants the real YouTube URL. So it doesn't want like my custom one. So if I go to youtube.com and I go to my channel, I believe my channel is Terry. Let's grab that. I think I know what the channel is. Let's go back. Let's try that one more time. Let's use a real URL that it likes for YouTube. YouTube, and I think I should be able to get away with Terry White. It's either Terry White Mac or Terry White Tech Blog. I think it's Terry White Tech Blog. That's why I don't like using that long URL. Anyway, yep, that one it liked. All right, so the YouTube channel's there, and I'm not sure if that one works, but it's there, ready to go. And you just keep going. So now if I wanted to add another thing, I could add another page. I can add another Lightroom album, either a custom page where you're going to upload your own images or another album, and away you go. So let's go to another album. I'll grab just another demo one here. And let's grab my Behance demo album. It'll take a few seconds and then it will add that one in. And there's the Behance one. And then I like this. It even says, you may also like the 7 things one. So it's even doing some work behind the scenes for me. All right, so if I go back to my work, I should see both of them there. And if I want to update the live site, I update the live site. So at any time when you've edited enough to want to update your site, you can just hit update and your site would now be live. All right, so now we talked about the domain that it picked randomly. We talked about that you can have your own domain. Let's go fix that stuff now. So if I go to settings and I come down to domain name, this is the random one that it picked, twhitefcf4.myportfolio.com. So you could change this to any name that's not already taken. So I could try Terry Lee White and apply it and see what happens. And I successfully changed it. So now if you were to go to terryleewhite.myportfolio.com, let's try that. Oh, I might need to update it though. Hang on. Done. Let's update the live site first. All right, give it a second. Updating, all right. Yep, and now it's got the link there. And if I can say view my site, it'll take me there. So this site is now live on the internet. If you grab it before I delete it today, you could go see this site. It's terryleewhite.myportfolio.com. All right, so that's one way to get a domain. Is just simply, or I'm sorry, that's one way to change your default address is just put in one that hasn't been taken. But it will always be whatever you put in here, .myportfolio.com. That's what you get for free. Or you now have the ability to purchase a domain directly on Portfolio. Before you could, like when I connected terrywhite.photography, I went and bought terrywhite.photography somewhere else and then connected it to my portfolio. But now that skips a step. You could just purchase it right here on the spot. So you could find a domain to type. So let's do Terry's Awesome Photography. I'm sure that one's not taken. .com. And yep, terry'sawesomephotography.com is available, and it's $10.48 a year. So I can buy that one, and it shows me all the other ones that are available and what prices they are, because some ending domain names are higher than others. So a .com is $10.48, a .me is $16.98, so forth and so on. So it just depends. But you could buy it right here on the spot and apply that directly to your portfolio site without having to go any further. So that cuts out one of those extra steps that people would do. So there is also password protection. You could password the whole site. You can also password specific galleries. There's a social sharing thumbnail. So this is now you can upload a picture. This is new too. You can upload a picture. So when you share it, when you say share my portfolio on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, it uses this image to share it with. The web clip icon is cool too. So this is for when people save or bookmark your site on their phone what icon it uses. So that's a pretty cool feature. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Analytics, this was already here, but if you have Google Analytics, you want to track how many people go to your site, just plug in your Google Analytics code, and you can always unpublish your site. So that was already there from day one. So what else is new? I meant to show it here. So what else is new? Let's go to 7 things. And let's click on, I believe I did, yeah. So see when I hover over this picture, it says drone flight over an Icelandic lighthouse. But when I hover over the other pictures, oh, there's a couple, Robert, Krista. Some of them are coming up with descriptions and some of them aren't. That's what's new, not the ones that don't. What's new is having the ability to put in metadata inside of Lightroom that comes over to my portfolio. So for example, let's pick a photo. Let's pick, did I do one for this one? No, I didn't do one for this one. So boats docked in Tampa Harbor Bay, whatever that is. All right, so if I head over to Lightroom and I find that photo and I go to the info button down in the bottom right corner for Lightroom CC, or if you did it in Lightroom Classic, that would work too. You have 2 places to put in info, title and caption. Lightroom will use the caption, Portfolio will use the caption by default if there are 2. Or if there's only a title, it will use a title. And obviously if there's nothing, it will use nothing. Like this one has nothing, so it didn't put anything in it. All right, so let's just say boats docked in Tampa Bay. All right, so now it has to sync that. So it's syncing that metadata up to Lightroom Cloud. Once it finishes syncing that data, we'll give it a second. Shouldn't take more than a second just to sync a caption. But you could continue working. You could go ahead and put in all the rest of your captions. And once that sync is done, syncing one photo, come on. Okay, nope, still doing done. All right, so now it's done. Switch back over. It's not going to do it automatically because you haven't updated it. It's a static picture of your Lightroom album at this point. So the way I update it is I come over here and I say, you know what? Update my 7 things, reset it from Lightroom, and reset. So it's grabbing a fresh copy of all of those images and any changes, and the page has been reset back to the editor. And if oh, there it is. If I hover over it now, boats docked in Tampa Bay. And if I update the live site, you would see it if you're looking at this Terry Lee White site. So now I'm updating the live site and away we go. Okay, Elliot's asking, so password protection, I assume, can be used for clients to pick photos. That's actually coming. I can't talk about what's coming. That's actually going to be something that we're looking at doing soon. Let's put it that way. So I can't tell you how you'll do it, but yeah, that is a thing to do. What is the advantage to pay more for, say, .me.com? Well, you mean a .me, because it wouldn't be .me.com. So what would be the advantage of paying for one of those other domains is to have something, maybe you have a domain name that isn't available as a .com, so you get a .me or .info or .whatever, or you just want something newer and cooler and fresh. There is no other advantage because the address is the address. But like for me, for example, I paid, I think, a little bit more for a .photography because that's cool. It's Terry White .photography. So it could be, you know, Cindy James .position. It could be, you know, whatever those subdomains are that make it like they kind of identify what you are. So a .me could mean that it's a personal site. So there's no advantage to it, but that would be one of the things you can do. Can you add Facebook pixels on different pages? I don't know what Facebook pixels are, so I don't know. You can certainly embed things. So if it's something that Facebook lets you embed, you can do that. All right. Let's see if I missed anything else. All right. Well, thank you, Mohammed. I'm glad I was able to get the work done in a short amount of time. Is that responsive? Yes, it is. We talked about that earlier. So if I say view my site, and I now pull it in, if I can grab the handle there, it's a responsive site by default. So it gave me the new hamburger menu at the top, and if I pull it out far enough, it gives me the regular menu. If I go to the hamburger menu, then it gives me that stuff up there, and the social media is now at the bottom. So yes, it is a responsive site. All of the portfolio templates are responsive by default. All right, let me see if I missed any other questions here. There's nothing to FTP. You're doing it all on the web, you're just done. So you upload images, you embed other content like YouTube videos or Facebook content, and you do it all in the web browser. There's nothing to do. Can I upload a magazine from InDesign in my portfolio like an issue? Yes, if you were to go to InDesign, create your magazine, use the Publish Online feature in InDesign, which will put your magazine up as an interactive magazine, there's an embed option for Publish Online. So you would then come back to Portfolio, put that embed code in on one of your pages, and your magazine would now be embedded on your portfolio. So if you're asking, is it possible to put, fill in the blank content, as long as that content can be embedded, the answer is yes. So one more thing really quick. Let's go back to the editing. And let's say that I wanted to go back to my work, and I wanted to add another page. And this time I'm not going to do a Lightroom gallery. I'm just going to add a regular page. And I'm just going to say that this new page is videos. Or no, let's just say other stuff. All right, we'll call it other stuff. And then we create that page. So now the other stuff page is ready to go. And here's all the stuff you could put on it. So I can upload files to it. I can type text on it. I can embed, if I hit embed and I paste in whatever that embed code is, YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, Publish Online, wherever I got the embed code, that's what embeds it on that particular page. You can get some Lightroom photos individually instead of having an entire album. You can put a photo grid up. You can put a form on. So that's how you make a separate contact page, or you're asking for different things. You can put social icons and buttons. So if you want to make a custom page, this is how you would do it. It doesn't have to be a Lightroom album. There are people that are going to use Portfolio that aren't photographers that don't use Lightroom at all. So those graphic designers, non-photographers, this is how you will get your content into your portfolio. And I think that is it. So go check out portfolio.adobe.com. It's part of your membership. You're already paying for it. I know people that I've always watched these videos and say, well, you mean to tell me I'm paying for blank separately and I don't need to do that anymore? You don't need to do that anymore. Since you're going to be a Creative Cloud member, you might as well take advantage of the portfolio that's available to you. And I've done that somewhere here. Here it is. I plan to continue doing it because they've, like I said, implemented all the features I've needed. So all my content, all my fresh content is here. So even if I were to go to new albums that I've added, like shot on iPhone, dronography, and one more thing. If you sell on Adobe stock as a contributor, you can integrate your stock collections on your portfolio. So people can actually buy your stock content directly from your Adobe portfolio. All right, you have a student membership. Is it open for you? It should be. Memberships are memberships. So as long as it's a paid membership, you should be good to go. All right, with that said, cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching. And again, if I didn't cover it, you should be able to find your answers on portfolio.adobe.com. But hopefully I got all the answers for all the questions that I saw at least. All right, is it possible to upload a live video? Sure, as long as you have the embed code for that live video. All right, everybody. Take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody.